What's good, Ravens fans? Let's talk about the running back market and how it affects the Baltimore Ravens. Now, you guys know that we have a team that is built around the running game for many years. This year is going to be different. However, the Ravens have a strategy, and they've been using the strategy for a long time, especially on offense. Take positions that are traditionally undervalued and try to make those the strength of your team because you can put money in other places. On offense, we've done that for a while, right? Our team is based on running backs and tight ends, not really premier positions in offense nowadays. On defense, it's a little different, but we still didn't focus so much on pass rushers. Instead, you saw last year we went and got a middle linebacker, and we've invested in safeties over the past couple years. Defense, we did do cornerbacks, but now you can see we're kind of going away from that. However, it is important to note that the running back position is kind of in a free fall from a value standpoint, and the market is just going crazy. There's great players like Jonathan Taylor that won't get paid. There's great players like Dalvin Cook that won't get paid. Ezekiel Elliott doesn't have a job. I really do think that the market is just in a free fall. Tony Pollard, I believe, got franchise tagged. Saquon Barkley didn't get what he wanted. And these are great running backs. Not like good running backs. In my opinion, players like Saquon Barkley and Jonathan Taylor have the same amount of game value as a receiver does on a game-to-game basis, right? I'm not talking about long-term value, which of course is what these GMs are taking into account when they do on contracts. But the question is, how does this affect the Ravens? How does this affect us, a team that runs the ball, wants to run the ball, enjoys running the ball, wants to dominate the line of scrimmage with the running backs? The biggest question is, how does it affect the relationship between the Ravens and J.K. Dobbins? Because J.K. Dobbins is a good player, and in my opinion, last year, he proved single-handedly by himself that he is a player on offense that is a self-starter. There's no need for Lamar Jackson for him to be great, and not all the players on our team have shown that, especially at the receiver position, but we do know that he does feel great, look great when he's playing out there by himself. Now, of course, he's great with Lamar as well, but it's important to have players like Mark Andrews and like J.K. Dobbins that are great without Lamar, and the Lamar makes them spectacular. And that's what we really want. And J.K. Dobbins proved last season he was that player. The issue, though, is that J.K. Dobbins is not better than Saquon Barkley. Historically, J.K. Dobbins has also not been better than Dalvin Cook and not been better than Jonathan Taylor. So where do we put J.K. Dobbins in this mass of running backs, and what is going to happen with him in the Ravens? So first things first, J.K. Dobbins, in my opinion, is going to play this year, so Ravens fans, don't be worried about that. Again, he's too young in his career, and he's not as valuable as he wants to think he is, and I'm just being, honest. I don't want to be mean. J.K. Dobbins is a great player and really deserves money in the league. He is a difference maker. However, it's all about what you've been doing in the past. He has been injured, and that's not his fault, right? It was a freak accident, in my opinion. I don't think he's injury prone. He had one major injury. However, teams use that against you. That's just 100% the fact. The second fact is, there's no question that he is not Saquon Barkley, not from a skill perspective, but from an engine perspective. Saquon Barkley is the engine of the New York Giants. The truth of the matter is that J.K. Dobbins is just not an engine type of player, right? He's not a player like Alvin Kamara, who was the engine for the Saints when he's healthy. Again, we already brought up Saquon Barkley. There are other running backs that I do think are engines for their team and deserve to get that kind of big money. In my opinion, J.K. Dobbins falls in between the Saquon Barkley and the Ezekiel Elliott's. Around the same level, honestly, as a Dalvin Cook, who can't find a person to give him a job. And I think that sooner or later, the agent for J.K. Dobbins has to know this, right? J.K. Dobbins has been holding out, guys, and it's the quietest holdout in all of football. The quietest holdout in all of football, because you know one thing, that you're going to be able to run the football as long as you have Lamar Jackson. And that's just what the truth of the matter is. The Ravens have had a top rushing offense every single year with Lamar Jackson, regardless if J.K. Dobbins was there or not. When J.K. Dobbins was injured, they were one of the top rushing offenses. The only time they become average rushing offense is when Lamar Jackson's out the game. So The league knows that. The Ravens know that. And the Ravens have done some things to secure their running back room. Gus Edwards is on contract. He's there to play. There's some draft picks that they've made at the running back position in the past couple of years. I see potential there. And then again, the issue with the running backs winning contracts is that the running back position is the easiest position to fill. It's the easiest because, one, college football is full of dynamic running backs. And because it's full of dynamic running backs, every single year, new great running backs come and you can get them in the 5th round. It's unfortunate, guys. And sometimes the truth of the matter is that you grow up in an unfortunate time. We didn't do anything to grow up in a time where you have COVID. So those kids that went through there, they didn't do anything, and that just happened. And the same thing has happened to the running back market. It is not J.K. Dobbins' fault that he is part of the NFL after the running back was the premier position in the league, where running backs were the biggest driver of winning, and now he's just not that anymore, right? There are no Barry Sanders who you can give the ball to and think you can win games by giving him the ball 30 times, right? We thought it was Jonathan Taylor, but then what happened? He got hurt, right? This game is just too physical. The athletes are too good, and people are going to get hurt if you put the ball in their hands that many times, right? So it's just unfortunate for him. Now, what should J.K. Dobbins do? I'm a players first guy. I will never side with the team just because the team has a billionaire versus millionaires, and I'm always going to go with the person that has less, just because. I'm not saying that the billionaires don't deserve their money. I'm not saying that. I want to see money in everybody's pocket, including mine, and I'm definitely not a millionaire. So here's my advice to J.K. Dobbins. I know you don't want it, but here it is. I think you should play the season. I know that's hard for me to say. You've been injured before. However, I do not believe that you're going to get the money that you want from the Ravens unless you can negotiate a deal that you'll be okay with, a deal that guarantees money, kind of like Saquon's deal. Add $2 million in guarantees, take it, have, a $3 million guaranteed, $4 million guaranteed contract, and play. The only reason is because you're not going to win this fight because the running back market is too saturated. The Ravens aren't going to give high dollar amounts to a running back. Not right now. I think the time is over for that. Unless you're one of those game-changing backs, you might be able to get $10 million a year if you're Saquon Barkley guaranteed. But I don't think J.K. Dobbins has that in his future. Play the season. Hopefully you don't get hurt, don't get injured. Tell the team, hey, if we're going to not pay me, this is going to have to be a running back by committee for sure. Don't take too many of the snaps. Get out each game healthy. Do not play if you don't feel 100%. Then you hit the market as quick as you can and try to get some guaranteed money from a different team. That is the only thing I see happening. If you can get guaranteed money from the Ravens, take it, because again, you'll always be at an advantage in the running game because of Lamar Jackson. But that's the only way I see this going. I don't see it becoming a giant win for JK. I do think the Ravens have him right now. The Ravens have shown they'll play hardball. They had played hardball with Lamar Jackson. And if you're going to play hardball with your franchise quarterback, and this is the thing about franchise quarterback contracts, right? The beautiful thing is that it shows everyone else on the team how they can expect to be treated. And because J.K. Dobbins saw that, they said, look, we'll go all the way to the brink with Lamar. We want Lamar, and we want you too, J.K., but we'll go all the way to the brink. And once we get to the brink, we'll see what happens. And they'll do the same thing with J.K., and I think J.K. is going to lose on this one. So I would just say try to get as much guarantee as you can this year. And again, I know we are talking about it in terms of football, where $3 and $4 and $5 million guaranteed is not a lot. And I don't think that's a lot in the grand scheme of football, right? When Lamar Jackson, just got $35 million a year guaranteed. But in the grand scheme of life, there are people in this world that live in America that make an average income and never, ever earn $3 million a year. They hardworking people, they provide more value. And I know I don't want to be this fan because I know it's all about the market, but there are people who provide more value than football players in our society that make less money and will never ever earn $3 million in their entire lifetime. Take the $3 million if you can, get it guaranteed, and hopefully you'll be ready for next year where you can hit the open market and make some money. So I do think JK will come back. I know Ravens fans don't want to hear me say get ready for a team without JK, But if he doesn't want the money from the Ravens, that's the best thing he can do to try to get more money. I don't know if it's there either, but that's what I think. You guys let me know what you think about the situation in the comments below.